Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Braille edition. I don't know why I said that. Of Trip Around the Multiverse with your host, the man who has lots of fanboys, and I hate the fanboys, so I'm going to do to the fanboys what the fanboys are doing to the criminals. Carl Charles, and.
Alright, okay. Yeah, and I'm the man whose wife had an affair, and I crushed. Well, no, I crushed someone else's goal, but I destroyed him. I knocked him in a cell. Yeah, double hammer fist finish.
Yes.
CY Chung.
And today we are finally getting round to reviewing the continuation / kind of reboot of DareDevil. Born Again on Disney Plus, starring usual.
So, if people know, the episode 1 was not initially episode 1. Episode 2 was episode 1, and then there was, I think they filmed about 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So they got to the bank episode.
Yeah.
And then there was the creative overhaul where they refilmed a new episode 1 and then filmed the rest after episode 5 to put it all together.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain. Here's the thing, right? I like it, but also can find a figure. I also realize why some people don't, because it takes a long while for him to get in the costume.
Yeah, which I can't.
And to be fair, in Daredevil season 1 in Netflix, he took a while to get in the actual Daredevil costume, but at least he was doing stuff in the black tracksuit costume. Yeah. This didn't even have action until the one bit in episode 2.
Yeah.
And then about 4 episodes, nothing until you get to the bank episodes. So like, I mean, I'm good for the character drama stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're a new viewer and you hear all the good things about the Netflix series, and then you go into this, you'd be like, wait a second.
All right. So my argument to that is, watch the Netflix one, then watch this, rather than just come in cold turkey and like,
Yeah.
But
See, but I like this. I like this because it was slightly different. But at the same time, I could see how it's a bit of a redirection.
I can see some people's not disdain, but like gripes with it. But
yeah,
the gripe when I watched some guy sort of give his reviews, and I was like, it felt to me that's really nitpicky. Like that's what you're upset about. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the thing, right? Me and you like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's some bits that we don't like in that. So
it's
as far as piecing things together and putting out a serviceable product, this actually done really well. I think.
So do I.
I think Muse was completely. Look, first of all, when there was that one random guy who was speaking to, Heather Graham from the actual Born Again series, the one that broke up with him over the phone. Yeah, and then got with Foggy. Yeah. That's the lady in this, right?
Okay, I was wondering, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. They just used her character name. Also, so in episode 1, when that one guy made an appearance in the book signing.
Yeah.
And then Muse is coming later on. You're like, well, there's only one character. There's only one person can be it, and even though for 5 episodes, you're like, yeah.
You know what? I legit forgot about the guy. I was like, that's like, oh. That guy disappeared and never seen again. And then once all near, I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Okay, cool. All right.
I feel like this, right? Because when they said, oh, it's going to be 18 episodes, you just assume it's 18 episodes together. I know they probably filmed a certain amount. They were like, no, we're going to stop. We're going to have a look at this again.
Yeah.
And put out 9 episodes and then 9 episodes afterwards while we fix the stuff in the middle. So that's fair.
Yeah,
I feel like this was, though, something that should have been a longer series rather than chopped to parts, because it's like, oh, it's going somewhere, but then it kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
And it would be more more furnished product at the end of a longer run, it feels.
But then I don't know.
So I guess it depends on what they pick up during season 2.
Yeah, because if it was, I don't know, like if it got to 18 episodes, it might start feeling like it kind of dragging out. Like, hey, where are we going with this? You kind of like the 9 episodes kind of fits everything in, right? But you can imagine if they lengthen it out, like, an episode of him just doing his laundry, great. Things like it's like that. It'd be like, where'd you sort of go?
Well, yeah. I will say at the beginning, right, where Kingpin and Vanessa are in therapy, couples
Yeah,
therapy, right?
yeah.
And she's talking about how what was the guy's name? I can't remember the
Adam.
guy's name, but sorry.
Adam, if I'm correct.
Yeah. I was going to say Anthony, but I didn't want to be incorrect. As they're talking about, and I was like, oh, so okay, it sounds like it's an affair, but what if it's a miscarriage?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, that might make a bit more. It's like that not the swerve, yeah, but it's like everything that she's saying could be applied to the other situation as well, not the obvious situation, which is the affair. So I was like, oh, okay. And what if she, for example, if she said she said it was Richard, then me and you'd be like, oh, Richard Fisk. But then, oh, maybe it is a miscarriage then. But no, it turns out she did actually have an affair. Not that it swerved me or anything like that. I just thought they were going to go else. I thought they were going to be like one of those things where it's this direction, but it actually isn't.
Yeah, but like, I think about it now, like, was it really an affair though? If he just got up and left and say anything,
yeah,
don't know. She could just literally thought he was dead and was like, okay, time to move on.
Yeah.
So
he's
a bit of a dick, but yeah, I
mean, yeah. But I'm like, this stuff makes sense for their characters, anyways. It's not as if she was just like, nah, I'm gonna, cuck him or anything like that. Nah, it's just like they're having a fragile, tense situation, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of you do stuff in I think moment weaknesses, but as far as character and progression and stuff like that on the TV show, you know,
it makes sense.
It was like okay, it had something fresh, but then it's because they murdered him together, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh,
you strengthened their relationship. All right, okay.
Husband and wife that killed together, stay together, I guess. Oh.
Yeah. Apparently, you're right. You're in too deep. You go too far. You might as well. What else you got to lose?
Yeah,
just cover it up.
Well, that's so weird.
So I like their direction as well. Like the Vanessa who started in Daredevil season 1 at a certain point and just be like, you know what, by the end of season 3 she's like, I'm embrace this criminal stuff, and then by season 4 she's like, I am the criminals.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I did also like that the Bullseye fight in episode 1.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bullseye's costume, right? Because that's a bit of a. I
don't mind. It was just a tactical thing.
Yeah. But it looked like he was wearing spandex, whereas if he repurposed the Daredevil suit that he had stolen and colored it like Bullseye style, then be like, okay, fine, yeah. Because Daredevil's got a new costume. By the way, do you think? I know you might know you might not agree with this, but do you think that episode 1 he should have started in the red and yellow costume from She-Hulk?
Yes, and it depends.
See now,
the gap between this and She-Hulk, like I'm saying, like if it depends, but they don't really mention anything like that, unless
they do show his yellow mask during some of the thingamajig scenes, so it had happened at some point. I think that yellow and red costume is dark enough to still work in this atmosphere at night time. Anyways, you get the vibe of it, and it kind of he's celebrating with Foggy and Karen at the beginning as well, so it kind of signifies a little bit more. I say, happier times, whatever, yeah. And then you can go into the rest of it where when he wears his Daredevil costume, the full red, he's like he's back, but he's changed as well.
But I don't know. I think because of this that first scene where he's fighting Deadpool. It will. I don't know. It feel out of place.
I still, but you see, the yellow is not that bright yellow, so I still think that it would have worked.
I don't know.
But what I did like is like after fighting Bullseye, like, and all the knives and stuff like that, right? Bullseye's throwing, and the old granny that Bullseye just uppercuts down the the staircase for no reason.
That was like,
he's like, just I throw knife at her. Yeah, you just hear it off screen, and then he just throws some dirty Mortal Kombat style uppercut.
That.
And then you're like, all right,
him just walking down, killing all these people for no apparent reason. Like, wow, that's a bit.
No, but he's there to be hated. He
I know, but
to get the heel heat, right?
It is
for no reason, but like you say, he just came in there just to purely get the hatred.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a bit. Ooh, okay.
And then when Matt's hearing Foggy's heart just stopping it, right?
Yeah.
And he's holding Bullseye right at the edge of the ledge, and he's like, "F this guy."
Yeah. Just
He didn't shove him. He just like, "F my life, F this guy," and just
Yeah.
lets him drop. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what he did in the comics." Where actually it was even worse in the comics. Actually, slightly worse in the comics, where after Electric got shanked,
yeah.
Bullseye was on the the telephone mast thing,
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah.
And then Daredevil just kind of jumped on the wire and made sure his grip went. And I was like, "Oof, yeah." And then
because that bit kind of reminded me of not fully like Batman Begins, but it's like, you know what, I don't have to kill you, but I have to save you, because just like didn't.
Well,
like
you know what?
He just let him drop. He didn't he didn't shove him off or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I kind of you can get around it, I guess.
Well, I'll say here it was next level, because he just basically he shoved him. He just he didn't. It was none of that. He was just like he brought him to the edge, and then he was like, he just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, so he just he didn't. Because really, if he wanted to kill him. Like, it would have just snapped his neck off. You know what I mean? Yeah, or thrown him. He just like, I have nothing to live for now.
Yeah, just like Naomi did to Jade Cargill.
Yeah, Jade Cargill. Cool.
He fell. He decided to fall
onto
20 stories, but
exactly.
He's the one that fell. You know what I mean? I just held him very close to the edge.
Yeah, I know. Just seemed to happen that way, but
yeah,
the opening scene was.
And I get that from that point, how he would be out of costume for a certain amount of time, right?
A year, isn't it?
I did find it though at the end of episode 4, where he's like, I think that's where he has a chat with the Punisher, and then he's like, he gets up from his bed and he starts swinging his Daredevil buttons and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then we go to the bank episode, where it's just like, in the bank, just a Vault episode, which I do like, by the way, but it's just like, wait a minute, shouldn't have that tag come after this episode or something like that, because then we get another episode of no Daredevil, like Matt not in the Daredevil costume.
Yeah, it could have been a way around, didn't it? The episodes.
Yeah, well, at least the tag was, at least just chop those 2 minutes away, 30 seconds, and put him at the end of the other one, because then it just leads him leads directly into the episode where he does become Daredevil again.
Yeah.
I did like the storyline with Hector Ayala and how the trial, and then Matt saying, well, he's the White Tiger, yeah, but we don't want to take the jury. And then he's like, you know what? I'll do it myself.
I get, it's such a weird logic. I get it and I don't get it at the same time.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was his only play after the witness decided to
so I kind of understand why he did it, and I understood why at first okay, we don't want to tell the jury that, because then it's gonna swing the vote and all that stuff, or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like their vote. So I kind of got it, and I was like, when he did it, oh no, Matt, nothing good's gonna come from this, and then
good. Yeah. But he had to do what he had to do to get an innocent man not put in jail.
Yeah, of course.
I tell you what, so the guys playing the corrupt cops.
Yeah.
That one guy, he did a good job, because I was I looked at his face and I was like, yeah. And then when he gets beat up by Matt as well, when they tried to get the witness, right, and then he gets beat up by Matt, and I was like, yeah. And then the next episode, he's like walking down the hallway to Matt, and he's like, so very counselor, how you got them maneuvers.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, where's this going? I don't know how much you read your Daredevil comics.
Not much.
So there is a storyline, one of the many storylines, but this is the Bendis run where his identity gets revealed.
Yeah.
To the press. Because Richard Fisk knows who Matt Murdock is, and some guy called Silk gets the information from Richard Fisk.
Yeah.
And then he sells it to the FBI and stuff like that. He puts it out there.
Yeah.
So I thought this corrupt cop was going to be the guy that'd be like, oh, this guy's suspicious. Through the series, they're going to be like, he's Daredevil. And then they're going to do, I don't know if you ever read the storyline, this is Ed Brubaker after the Bendis run, Devil in Hell Block H.
No.
Where Matt Murdock's in jail, because they're like, well, you're Daredevil. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then they're like, well, we think you are, therefore we're going to arrest you and put you in jail. For vigilante activities, right?
Yeah.
And this is after he's beat up the Kingpin.
Yeah.
So the Kingpin's in jail. Bullseye's in jail. Matt Murdock's in jail.
Yeah.
And Frank Castle's also in jail. Right, and then they have then the prison's like the prisoners are like, we're gonna have a ruck, we're gonna have a riot, and then there's like, yeah. Frank doesn't really do much though, because they're like, you expect Punch to be like, I'm gonna go out there and just start breaking necks because I love being in the jail, with all these criminals. Nah, they're like, he doesn't do much. He just sits in his cell and read a book, and then if people come in, he kills them. But I was like, I'm kind of disappointed in what the Punisher. But all I'm saying is, I feel like I don't know if that's the direction they're heading in this afterwards, because they've got all the right players, or they're going to the Mayor Fist storyline.
But isn't the Mayor Fist one like more recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally
a
year or two ago.
I'd say about 5 years ago.
I think it was less than that. Wait, mate, you're right, because then didn't after him, I could be wrong. Luke Cage became mayor of New York.
Yes, exactly. So it depends on which direction you're going.
Yeah.
But if somehow if this is a semi-sequel to the actual Netflix series and the Defenders, then when Wilson Fisk gets ousted and probably put in jail or whatever he's going to do, right? Yeah. Then we get Luke Cage as the new mayor, even though at some point he was running Criminal Empire at the end of Luke Cage season 2. But no one knows anything about that, right?
That they might play it off as that never happened. I mean, like, but then if you think about it, like their workaround is, it's been like a gap plus the blip and all that stuff. They can kind of write that into that, like, the blip happened, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Time skip.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, yes, and there's so there's different ways they can do it. I know that obviously in the comics one, the Rhino was involved, and then we're not going to get Rhino fighting the Kingpin in here. The power levels are just too different, right? Or Stiltman even, right?
Yeah.
Cole North, the crop cop, the black crop cop.
Yeah.
In the comics, he's not corrupt. He is black, right? But he's not corrupt. So he's a bit. He in the comics he gave off them Luke Cage vibes,
Yeah.
And he had the fisticuffs with Matt Murdock, right? And he beat him up as well. No, he wasn't super powered, but he's just like, you know what? Yeah. So I was like kind of not semi-disappointed, but it's like they got a character, and they gave him the name, and you're thinking, all right, greater things maybe, except that no, he's exactly what he says on the tin.
Yeah.
And he's only named that because that's one that they just put the name on him. I thought if he was that undercover anti-vigilante task force agent who's actually legit, right? Then he'd be like, that's more in tune with the character. But
did that character end up dying in the comics? Or are we still alive?
You know what? I haven't actually read since the Mayfield storyline, so I can't. I think when I got chipped, whoever wrote that one, when they finished their run, you know how it is sometimes. We can't write as they continue the characters. Yeah, we know that there is a Randy Robertson, and then sometimes he disappears for 100 issues at a time, right?
Yeah, and he has come back and he's like, "Hey, Pete, I'm one to be his best friends. Like, I haven't seen you."
Exactly. What happened to Jill Stacy?
Ain't George Stacy dead?
Jill Stacy.
Oh, was it George? She was like,
no, not George. There's Gwen, and then there's cousin Jill and cousin Paul, I think. And then where have they gone?
They'll turn up in a couple of years when the writer takes over.
Yeah. And then there'll be the sons of Norman Osborn as well, son and daughter of Norman Osborn, who had a hallucinogenic breakdown, and they're not actually his sons and daughters. It's funny. What is funny about that, right, just now, is the people that don't have video didn't see your shit expression. They just
me staring
a massive pause with nothing. Yeah. Anyways. What did you think of the 9 episodes that you saw?
I really enjoyed it. Like, disclaimer, I haven't watched Daredevil season 3. I was gonna go back and watch it. And
have you seen the Defenders as well?
Yeah, I've seen Defenders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen Daredevil season 3, Punisher season 2, and Jessica Jones season 3.
Yeah, you don't really. I mean, this is disconnected enough that it doesn't matter. And plus, the blip happened and all that other stuff. So
exactly. So it's like,
it's season 4, but it isn't.
Yeah, it's like season 3.5 or whatever it is. Anyway, yeah, and no, I really enjoyed it. I like like you kind of said, the character development with characters. I liked his interactions with other people.
Yeah.
I like Kingpin a lot because he just came off as like, I don't know which side of the fence this guy is leaning towards, and then in the end, you're like, oh, there he is. Yep, that's
yeah, which is good because in the first episode where it's like they have the sit down, the very civil sit down in the cafe, and they're talking loudly, right? And there's a couple of people, like a couple other patrons, right? But you're like, you people, I can hear what you're saying. You know, I can't. If I was one of the patrons of the cafe, right, and there's empty seats and everything like that, you'd be like, these two, I know, I can hear them exactly what they're saying. So
yeah. Well,
they should have. I mean, logically speaking, they probably should have had a bit more people there. So then you get the like a lot of voices talking over each other, so you won't be spying on other people's conversations. But when you're like so far apart, you are going to hear bits of other people's stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially when they're calling themselves like vigilantes and the Kingpins and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Of course, like, you know, I'm surprised that the other people in the cafe were like, "What?
No, like,
Jim?
okay.
What's that?"
What? Okay, these guys are having a very intense conversation. Okay, let's just leave into it. Yeah, because I like that about him, and like I said, yeah, like you're like maybe he has sort of changed after getting shot in the eye and all that stuff like that. But like, oh no,
all the stuff with Echo,
and Hawkeye and all that stuff. You're like, oh, this guy, okay. And then I liked Matt going from like kind of happy in DareDevil, in She-Hulk, and then being like super depressed in this again.
But it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Foggy died. They were going to have Foggy and Karen both die off screen, by the way.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. They're going to just be dead already.
Oh.
So
that's what they
starts.
Oh, yeah, because I think I saw an interview with Deborah Ann Wall saying ages ago before they reshot that, like, wait, what? I'm not in that. And then they reshot.
When she said, oh, you know, they haven't contacted me about coming back.
Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. Yeah, so I like. Yeah.
So there was that block of filming that they did without her, which is why they had to write her out at the beginning, like during episode 1.
Yeah.
And then have her come back way later on when they picked up production for her again.
That makes sense. And then so I like that. I like his relationship with what's her name? Christy McDuffie. Yeah, I like that relationship.
From the comics, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, that's from the Mark Waid run from like a couple of years. I say a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
When he moved
do you think he's ever going to fight? By the way, do you ever think he's going to fight the Silver Surfer from Mark Waid's run?
Probably not. Cause
no, I'm just joking.
I hope not.
I'm just joking. But randomly, have you seen the memes of the Silver Surfer?
No.
Okay, you know it's a female Silver Surfer, of course, right?
Yeah.
You've seen Mad Max Fury Road?
No. Sadly,
okay. So they get the spray cans, right?
Yeah.
And they have Nicholas Holt's character, right? Because that's what it is, right? So and it's silver spray, of course.
Yeah.
But it's got like, you know, it gives you a chemical high or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? So they spray across their mouths, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they inhale it, right? So you see all the silver streak across their face.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the memes are because you get the Silver Surfer coming, the female Silver Surfer, right?
Yeah.
And then then it has a caption saying, I saved the Earth, and then from Galactus, and then they say, oh, how did you save it? And then you see the picture of the dude with the silver streak afterwards, and they're like, all right, okay.
Fair enough.
I'll have to say you the meme where I can find it. Yeah. But it's just like, okay, you know what? You talk and I'll see if we can find it.
And I like how they introduced new characters like that BB Urich, Ben Urich's niece. I thought she was a pretty good character. A bit annoying, but that's the point of a character, I guess. And
I think she's having a beef with because what's it called? In season 1, Kingpin. Well, I know he killed my uncle, but is it dad or uncle?
Uncle.
Yeah.
And then there was that slimy dude who he promotes to his communication or head of communications, whatever. That guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I liked his sort of like character development. We went into like being like a like wet behind the ears kind of kid to like total douchebag. Like, oh wow.
I liked how like obviously he's designed to be disliked as well.
Yeah.
But I like the way that he's been put together. You know?
Yeah, well, like
it
he
wasn't just like
automatically unlikable. He gradually got there. Like, oh yeah, he's that guy. And
yeah,
then,
not that he was all super clean to begin with.
No,
They're just like, you know what?
He
I
felt
seem
like
to be going in this direction, and I'll just
like
continue going in this direction.
Like, I see what power does to people. I want that. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was another person I thought was interesting character. That Buck guy, is he from the comics?
Buck?
Kingpin's like head right hand man, the English dude.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, I thought he might be from there.
I think he's a replacement for Wesley though.
Okay. Yeah, because he doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just think he just made him up for this.
Well, it's not as if, by the way, they're just repeating characters and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where you're like, okay, this character is a replacement character, but he has a function. Oh,
he is from the comics. He's some guy called Bullet. Okay, cool. I'm not going to read into that.
Okay, so they took a name of a character and just kind of readjusted it, which I don't mind sometimes, right? It's just like sometimes it's like an Easter egg sort of thing, and then sometimes it's like, oh, we pick something that we are going to use that we think we won't be using in the future, and then we kind of end up do-ish. Yeah. I'm sure you remember when in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, when Norman Osborn got buried.
Yeah.
And then one of the gravestones said Gwen Stacy on it, and then she appears in Spider-Man 3. So...
Yeah. So okay. that made sense. Yeah. Okay. And then who else? Other things I liked. Yeah, I liked that Cherry dude as well, who's like kind of Matt's voice of reason at certain points. Like, dude, no, just leave it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm angry. Ah. So I kind of like that whole dynamic.
All right. Hold on, here it is. I can't find the full meme. I was trying to find the full picture, but here it is. You can click on this link and you can see that the back end of the meme. Oh, and there it is. Actually, it's just a picture there. Yeah.
All right, let me...
But what it had was the CGI pictures of the female Silver Surfer above that, and then you get that picture.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, obviously I liked when the Punisher came into it because I liked how he was kind of down and out, and then in the end he was like, I hate everyone again.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, is less like, you know what? Okay, so when White Tiger got killed at the end of episode 3, and you got the Punisher skull walker towards the screen, people are like, oh, it's the Punisher, he killed him, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, no, because obviously it's a red herring, it has to be, because Punisher doesn't shoot the good guys, and this guy's clearly a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got the anti-vigilante task force who are wearing the Punisher skulls.
Yeah.
But they put it on the body armor after they've been assigned.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh wait, who's this guy running around in the Punisher suit before?
It was that Cole guy.
Oh yeah, did you say it was him?
Yeah, because when in the last fight, that fight in the apartment, and then he shoots something. He shoots one of these shell cases on the floor. Punisher picks it up and goes,
"Oh yeah.
This is your...
Oh yeah. You're right. I didn't put it together, but it's just like one of those things where you're correct. You're correct, because I was like, yeah, it's one of those things where you got to say, oh yeah, it's the bullet to bullet, rather than he's wearing the stuff. Because he's like, oh yeah, I'm wearing the Punisher thing, and then later on, he's like, "Oh, well, you know what? Yeah, Vigilante Task Force. Actually, let me join.
It's like, oh, I kind of.
But for some reason, decide to keep my Punisher.
But like, wouldn't one of the people there be like, when they were like all tagging it their vests and like, "Oh, you've already done yours." It's like, yeah, like,
yeah. Actually, it's funny as well because, like you're saying, when Matt's getting harassed by those cops when he went to save the witness, right?
Yeah.
And then we can see that they have Punisher tattoos, but Matt can't.
Yeah.
Except obviously he didn't grab the guy in that area as well, because if he did, he would have probably felt something on his wrist, and you would have got a kind of raised eyebrow from Matt Murdock, be like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
He would have felt something with the tattoo, the way that he can feel all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
For plot
convenience.
Yeah.
I really like the bank episode, and
Yeah.
I like
With Kamal
Kamal's
Khan's dad.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a cool. So I was sitting there, I was like, wait, he looks familiar and sounds familiar. And then when he dropped Kamal, I was like, oh yeah, duh, that's her dad from the film. Yeah, and I like how they name dropped her as well. Like, oh, okay.
I do like bottle episodes where they're just in one place.
Yeah.
And this was a well done one, I think.
Yeah,
because it furthered the characters as well.
Mm.
Though logically speaking, how many people only Kamala's dad really saw Matt do stuff, right? But he didn't do that sort of more amazing stuff that he could do.
Yeah.
But he could do stuff that a blind person couldn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. No, okay. But just like, he probably accepts that guy, he is trustworthy. Kamala's dad, even though he doesn't know him, right?
But
but he's just going to make sure the criminals don't see him smashing another criminal. Because he had a fight with a criminal and he choked him out.
Yeah. But I think, like, her dad knows, right? He clocked that he's Daredevil. Must have, innit? Because
I don't know if he clocked that, but I don't know also if Matt clocked that when he was talking about Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Then he's like, why, because you can read heartbeats and stuff. But this is me just kind of saying, oh, because then Matt maybe was like, oh, why is he so supportive of Miss Marvel? And then he could just kind of put two together. But that's just,
Yeah, because that's what I kind of thought. Was like, he kind of, I headcanon myself, was like, he kind of clocked them because he knows his daughter's Miss Marvel, isn't it?
Well, I don't think he knows.
Matt, I mean, no. The dad knows that she's Miss Marvel.
Yeah. The dad
so he's
knows,
like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything because I know how to.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's for us piecing it together rather than.
It's not like actual canon. It's just me canonizing in my head. Yeah. And the police chief, what's his name? Guerrero, whatever his name, right? Who I thought at first was a bit of a dick, and then as you get on, oh no, he's not a corrupt police commission. He's actually trying to do his job.
Yeah. I don't think, by the way, like you're saying, he's adversarial to Kingpin at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk, or however you want to put it, because he's Wilson Fisk at this point, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to deal with you. Yeah. And then it's not like it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's just more like, we have a problem. I have a problem with you specifically.
Yeah.
And then later on, it's like, well, then, when all more layers are appealed, you're like, this guy, he was right. He was right. And then he got the great Carly advice.
I did not expect that. I really did not expect that. Like a couple of things threw me off first hearing it. I was like, okay, like when they dropped the F-bombs, I was like, okay, just threw me off a bit. I was like, okay, I've not really heard anything.
Yeah, because even in the Netflix series, they didn't swear like that.
So I think the only thing they would have said was like the S word in Netflix one.
Yeah.
Every now and then. But and it kind of not threw me off because it was only like bad guys and other characters were dropping the F-bombs. Like, okay, cool. All right. And then I think Matt dropped it twice, but the one that threw me off when he's like, when he calls the police about White Tiger's niece, Angela, and he's about to call him, and he's like, 911, he's like, F it. And then I was like, oh! For some reason, I thought like Marvel would be really weird about their character swearing.
Yeah.
But no, they was okay with it. I was like, okay. Cool.
And then he went... here's the thing with the Muse storyline as well. He's just like, oh yeah, the niece is like, oh yeah, my uncle found something. Blah, 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 right? I see, blah blah blah. But it's just be like, from that point, then Matt works out where Muse is, rather than there's any detective work going on and stuff like that. He's not even at the edge of, say, for example, this is the case that Hector White Tiger was working on.
Yeah. So
all the clues, you can put all the clues together and get it. Just basically like, no, she was right, and I'm just gonna go and find her now.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Right, you couldn't have just done that like 5 episodes ago?
Like the one I can't like what you're saying. I kind of the thing.
Yeah.
It bothered me about 2 seconds. Like, I don't actually care that much. Like, how he just found out where she was, right?
Yeah.
They could have easily like just done a bit where before it was like, okay, I've been tracking all this stuff to this place.
Yeah.
And then just something like that. Just 1 second.
Yeah. She could have dropped a line of dialogue when she went to see Matt, and then from that point, it's easier for him to pinpoint certain other things.
Yeah, but no.
And like, it smells of whatever, right? And then he can detect the smell, and then it'd be all good for him. He can just his nose can lead him to the direction, rather than what happened is he went into the tunnels, and then knock on the door, and the Muse is like, hello, and he's like, yeah, all right, time for beatdown.
Right. It was, but like, I kind of liked how Muse was sort of in the background, and like, to be fair, he's like a throwaway character, even in the comics. Like, have you ever seen him since? So I So I kind of didn't mind.
I thought they could have done a bit more with him in this.
You know why I didn't do much more for him? Because I'm pretty sure he's an Inhuman is one thing. I think I'm pretty sure, and two, they didn't want anyone to remember the Inhumans. So
no, I think you're right there. And he does get killed in the comics, but he comes back as well. So
yeah, because he's in the comics. If I remember correctly, he made Daredevil's psychic go blind.
Yeah, he stabbed the eyes out. He poked his eyes out.
Yeah. What was his name again? What was his
Blind Spot?
Was he in Blind Spot? Ironic. Sorry.
yeah. That's what I think. That's what Muse did it as well for. Just the lols.
Because I was gonna call him Shriek. I was like, no, that's a symbiote. Not a symbiote. That's Conjure's girlfriend. Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
DC character in Batman Beyond. Yeah.
So I just felt like they tagged Muse at the end of a couple of episodes, but then there was just no actually detective work going in that direction.
Yeah.
To find out who he is or anything. I just like, oh yeah, he's here. Oh yeah, well, I remember him. Yeah. We should go and deal with him. Yeah.
This guy
and then afterwards, when he after Daredevil decides to turn Muse into a jobber because you know how they. Okay, first of all, when they fight in the tunnels, right? And then he's he's choking Muse out.
Yeah.
And then he's got to go and rescue the niece, so he can't really do that. And then Muse disappears. And then next episode, when Muse and the civilian guys goes to talk to Heather, my therapy sessions and stuff like that, and then talk about how he knew Taekwondo from a young age and stuff. I was like, okay, fine. All right, he is a random jabroni, but he's got fighting skills, so fair enough.
When they did that, I was like, okay, I guess they kind of realized the whole. A lot of people was like, how can this person do something? So I liked how they thought, okay, let's just throw a random line in there so we can kind of justify him being able to fight back. Like, okay.
Yeah, because let's put it this way, Bullseye ain't got no fighting skills, right? Except for his insane accuracy, which is not. I wouldn't say in a fight you're gonna be fisticuffs and throw your fist like that. You'd be grabbing items to throw. But no, they didn't even bother explaining why his accuracy is so good. So fair enough.
Yeah, but don't they kind of just say like, again, I haven't watched season 3. I'm just guessing. Don't they kind of like, yeah, he was in army, we think something. That's kind of like
no. They just basically just say, oh yeah, he's got really good accuracy. Done, dusted. Move on. Since he was a child, which is basically how it is in the comics. So whatever, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, fair enough.
There was the episode where when they're tying the storyline together from when the creative was different, and Bullseye's like, oh yeah, well, Matt, come to the jail.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the information, right? If you move me out of Gen Pop. Yeah. And I was like, okay. When he murdered most of the guys in Gen Pop, I know, even though they say, his hands are bound or whatever, but when he murdered most of these guys, how he is, he's a maniac killer. He would have killed them with his toenails or something like that.
Like, because I was thinking the same, but I thought, okay, if they like overwhelm him, I don't think he would. So I was like,
yeah,
okay,
but wouldn't he be in even worse condition than he is shown currently there, because he would have been beat up so much or whatever, is.
Yeah. But
so I mean, but Matt does help him out of the jail by smashing his face into the table, and I was like, first of all, is he actually helping him out, or is he just angry?
I thought it was anger.
Yeah. because I was like, if he's helping him out and he smashed his face on the one, then he knows Bullseye's going to escape, right?
Yeah.
And he knows Bullseye's going to murder people on his way to escape. So why would he help him like that?
I don't think he did though. I think like it was like a mistake on his behalf. Like obviously it's the anger thing, and then that somehow unhinged his tooth, and then he was able to like murder people. But I don't think it was intentional, sadly.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can get that.
Yeah.
And then Matt saves Kingpin from getting shot by Bullseye after he works out. Vanessa hired Bullseye, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling Heather, "Oh, we shouldn't. You should be aware of the true colors of Kingpin." And she's like, "Matt, you've been hiding so many things from me. I don't even know your true colors. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you good on you called about."
It's true because like their relationship, right, is so like Matt and Heather's relationship is kind of messed up because he's doing this stuff and doesn't tell her, and then when she's trying to like, hey, we're in a relationship, we should be kind of like telling each other stuff like, nah, it's all fine, I'm okay, I'm not going out fighting people.
But I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
You should and shouldn't see, because for your own safety, of course, right?
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Like,
not possessive or anything,
No. I was like, oh, this is Matt. Then I kept on thinking she was gonna die, but quite glad she didn't.
Yeah.
Even though I reckon she might die in season 2. But
Yeah.
You feel that as well, right? Cool. All right.
I think she might disappear. I was surprised that, like you were saying, were you expecting Muse to actually kill her?
I thought it could. I thought it could have went that way. Like, oh, he might kill her, and then.
Were you surprised when she got the gun and started shooting Muse?
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. She's not a.
I was like, okay, that's different. Makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, she's not damaging stress. I kind of like that. Cool. She took initiative, murdered him.
yeah. For her own safety, she didn't just shoot him once. She made sure she shot him 7 times, and then she flopped on the floor.
Yep. I was like, oh, good on her.
And then when the anti-vigilante task force finally get there, Kingpin's like, yeah, you guys, you are the ones that saved her, not this Daredevil jabroni. If he was indeed here.
This vigilante, yeah.
Yeah.
Try and take the glory for it. What
it's funny as well how they capture the Punisher and they're like, you know what, it's all right, Frank, you can join us. You can join us.
And he's like, one, I could see you all for like gimmick infringement because I'm pretty sure he trademarked that skull, but like, it's just everything. Like, you want him to join you, like you're going against everything he kind of stands for. Don't get me wrong, he is mentally deranged, but he has a reason behind it.
Yeah, he aims himself at the correct people.
Yeah.
Whereas these crop cops are just like, I will target anyone that I desire to target. Which is kind of messed up. But at the same time, you can see why the Punisher wouldn't stick with them, because why would he?
No, exactly. He's doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it just because.
But it's funny as well, because if there was a Punisher and Punisher was after that guy, Punisher would be like, "Well, I have to murder you. You understand? You're killing people, right?
Yeah.
And only one of us can kill people.
Only one of us is allowed to murder. No one else.
Yeah. But then it took for corrupt cops. It's just like, you're not even helping people that I'm trying to help. You're helping yourselves. So.
Exactly, because if that was the case, that guy wouldn't have murdered White Tiger. Because,
White Tiger, yeah.
Well, I like the White Tiger suit, but anyway, like it was a good. It's a good show. Everyone has like depth to them, right?
Yeah,
not like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2. Yeah. I say season 2, but more like season 1, part 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any spoilers or anything like that.
There's spoilers for season 2?
People love to leak pictures and stuff like that.
Really?
But I don't know if it's not going to spoil anything because it's not actually a story beat on it.
Yeah.
But he gets a black version of the Daredevil costume.
Okay.
With the red D's on it.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh. But I'm like, all right, stealth suit maybe, but why would he be wearing a black version of the costume?
Because
where are we going here,
Yeah, is it going to Shadowland and stuff like that? Yeah. Which one?
Oh, well, that's what I was thinking, but then I was like, but So him and the Hand are just going to take over the entire of New York? Is that how it's going to be?
Yeah, it's kind
Look,
of like...
there's multiple different story ways they can go because, like you say, they could be Shadowland.
Yeah.
They could be Mayor Fisk.
Yeah.
I say the rest of the Mayor Fisk storyline, right? And it could be Devil in Hell Block H. So
yeah. And there was something else. I kind of like backtrack. I like that woman who was Fisk's male, his campaign director.
Yeah.
I liked her until near the end. I was like, oh, you're.
Well, yeah, but she okay. Now, I get what she wasn't a turncoat per se, right?
No.
She feared for her life.
Yeah,
at that
like,
point. So you'd be like, I don't get. I mean, I get why she did it, right?
Yeah.
And she has some sympathy, but at the same time, yeah, you just got someone else, you know?
Yeah, literally. Not even like a silence kill. Like,
not that she would have known, right?
No.
She probably thought he was gonna get gone.
Yeah, sent to Baltimore where he was going. Yeah.
No,
he got.
But she had to have known something was gonna happen.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's not nice on her. But yeah, that I like that about her as well. I also like the little cameo by Swordsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
In the prison cells at the end, where all the people that stood against the mayor, but the people that didn't agree with the mayor's directives, just get all put in their prison cells. And then you see Frank Castle in the last one because he's the most dangerous. And then did you see the end credit after the end credits?
Yeah. That's what.
And then he's talking to a cop. Oh yeah. I like your badge, man. Yeah. And the cop's like, oh yeah. I wanted to be like you when I grew up, man. Yeah, come over here. Let me show you some secrets. Break his fingers, knock him out, and then you're like, right now, Punisher's loose.
Yeah.
In Fisk's.
Yeah.
Tower where he is. And he can't go kill Kingpin because we got season 2 coming along.
But they're not in the tower. They're in the the story point is being spoke about. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. The docks where Kingpin's bought.
Yeah.
There.
But that's where Kingpin is as well at that point. And when they did the Punisher special, what's going to happen? He's not exactly going to be like, I'm here, right? And the Kingpin's over there, and I'm like, I can try and kill him.
But I don't think
or you're like, no, actually, I'll leave and go somewhere else. You know what?
But it might be like the special might be just him escaping from there because,
Well, to be fair, he is beat up. They did beat him up. And if anything, he could go after Kingpin, and Kingpin just kind of throw him out a window or something like that. And then he goes to the docks, he swims away, and then he does other stuff. But Punisher, if you cross him, he's coming back.
Yeah,
so
he's petty like that. Yeah.
I wonder what's going to go on in the Punisher special. That maneuvers him away from this storyline.
Do you think it's going to move him away from the storyline?
Well, he can't be directly in it and then have season 2 of Daredevil where Kingpin's dead because Punisher.
No, because I don't think, like I said, I don't think in a special Punisher will get anywhere near Kingpin. I feel like it might be like a raid sort of thing where he has to escape and then.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That kind of.
Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, so the main plot of all this thing, like, I thought was quite interesting. Like the reason they killed Foggy because he stumbled on someone trying to buy this certain dock in New York, which is unland. What's the word? Basically, it's not a part of America. Yeah, and then they can do whatever they want there, and not be like under any jurisdiction, anything like that. So I thought that's quite, that's a clever thing to do, and that would make sense why all this chaos is happening to get to that, because like Kingpin says, like before we was moving millions, now we can move billions. It's like, oh yeah, because now no one can tell you there on that part of land, it can't tell you anything. We're not. It's jurisdiction free. It's like, oh, okay, interesting.
Exactly.
We're gonna make Fist whatever it is gonna be called. Yeah. That sounded really wrong.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. That's why I was like, oh, this is very part 1 of something, because we get to that point where like the master plan is unveiled and then it stops.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. Especially like when you see the cool little fighting the apartment with like Punisher, Daredevil, and the goons. That was like, oh wow, this is ramping up pretty good. Oh, okay.
And what I did like as well is like because Matt's already beat up and he's like,
yeah,
right, and then Frank's already in his apartment and he's like, you know what, they're here for you. We're gonna get going. But if you want to fight them, I mean, we'll fight it. So whatever you want to do, yeah,
you're cool. We will do what you want to do.
And like Matt's like, please.
You can't kill Frank. I'm not gonna.
Exactly. He's fighting them all off, and then he's got to stop. He's got to throw his batons to actually stop Frank from murdering people. Even though like even though like when he's unavailable to do it, and Frank takes his shots, it's like, well, that's what the Punisher would do. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Like, I know I saw some people playing like he let the Punisher like, well, he's dealing with other things at the minute. It's not like he can. And
it's not as if he let him, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't stop him, but that's different.
That's different. It's like, you can't really moan about that. Come on, man. You know.
Yeah.
And I like how John Bethel, how he's portrayed that Punisher. I like him because he's like unhinged and he does it really well.
Well, he's like, you know what? I'm not necessarily I'm sick of life, but I'm sick of people telling me that my vision is incorrect. Yeah. This is how it is. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I buy a guy who'd be. Have that full process, because even when he did it in Daredevil season 2, he's like, yeah, you know what? I believe as the actor, I believe the actor believes his character is 100% justified, and he's all in on it.
Yeah, because like all the other versions of Punisher we've had, kind of being like, he wasn't unhinged like this. He was like, realistic. You're right. If your family got killed and stuff like that, you would act like how he's acting. Like, the current Punisher's acting, right? Rather than them like, I'm just depressed, but I'm not that depressed. You know what I mean? It's a weird.
Yeah. He's like, look, I do this stuff, kind of reluctantly, but at the same time, it needs to be done. Yeah. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like that. Yeah. So it's
really. He's like, I'm not an action hero.
No.
He didn't say that,
yeah, but basically,
like that's not my life. My life is to stop these people, and they keep on coming, right? Yeah. The criminals don't stop, right? But that's my life. It's just I'm just going to try and stop as many of them as I can.
Yeah.
And it is not a good life.
No, exactly. And like I've noticed a lot of people who kind of didn't like this version of Punisher are people who don't read the comics, because they're like, oh, Punisher's going around killing everyone. But I was like, no, the Punisher's comics are not like that. He's just going around killing everyone. He has reasons to do what he's doing in each like thing he's done. It's not like he just murders people for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
I can see.
Oh well, I suppose Ultimate Punisher might do.
Ultimate Punisher is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And
when you say Ultimate Punisher, we mean 2000s Ultimate Punisher, but new Ultimate Punisher who have not been appeared in the Ultimates yet.
Yeah. Which I'll do some weird twist with that anyway. And I think what else?
So waiting for season 2. Happy to wait till season 2 yet?
Yeah. So happy to wait for that.
And you're like, well, you gotta say 2 thumbs up for this as it is at the moment.
Yeah. But first, before that, let's quickly just talk about the end. I liked how they got, Daredevil was going to go storm Castle Fisk, right? And then and then Cameron's like, if you go in there, right, you're going to die. Like,
oh, yeah.
Dude, you ready to be shot. You're falling out of a window.
Yeah.
What you think is going to come from this? And he's like, okay. You're right, woman. All right. Okay, let's go back to Josie's. And I like how he's like, you know what? This is a war. I need to recruit people. Because if not, like, I'm just one man. Like, what's going to happen? Then he
And so they do the scene where Karen and Matt are behind the slides.
Yeah.
Matt's not got his helmet on, his Daredevil helmet on, right?
Yeah.
But then, she's giving a pep talk, and then he's like, yeah, we can do this. And then he puts his Daredevil helmet on. She opens the slides. We see Josie's bar. See how the camera goes through the thing.
Yeah.
And you see, it starts at the back of Mac, and it just kind of goes to each person looking at him with Cherry and Josie and all that stuff, right? And then it goes out through the torn newspaper that is holding the window together or something. Well, not necessarily holding the window, but covering the window. You see Matt there. But what you're expecting, by the way, for the camera to come out a bit further, and you see a leather jacket, and then you see some guy with a yellow t-shirt, and they're like, oh, I know who they are.
Yeah. I thought that, but then, because that would have been cool.
Yeah.
And I saw, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if people are just making it up right. Apparently, there's a part near the end or something where they play the Spider-Man theme.
Which Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
You're talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man theme signature.
Yeah.
I don't think that. So they say they can't. Sony, they haven't got the TV rights. So
yeah, that's why I was like, that wouldn't make any sense. And like me personally,
yeah,
like Spider-Man doesn't fit into this. I mean, like it doesn't.
Yeah, he's not. He's a. As far as they put him in the MCU, he's not a street level vigilante. No. So. But the other thing is, I don't know if you ever saw it. Them adverts for, is it Meerkat? I can't remember. But they did adverts with Spider-Man. I think it's Meerkat adverts, but they did it with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But it didn't use Tom Holland. They had a stand-in. You could only see from the back and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Which is quite clever because they can. You can get a stand, whoever it is, right, for like £250. So
and then like you
be super cheap,
play like,
and Tom Holland would be like over 10 times that amount just for the 30-second advert or whatever.
Yeah, because they just want to play like simple like franchise feeds. They use the Spider-Man bit or whatever. But then to get Tom Holland to do that, it was worth
it. Yeah. So they could have done the same here if they were going to do that. Right? Just be like some kid dressed from like Peter Parker walking past something, and then But no, I don't think so. They can't use him for TV. Yeah. They can't use Spider-Man for that. So.
But like, it just doesn't. To me, this doesn't. If this was 20-odd-year-old Spider-Man, like I can kind of see him in this, right? But teen Spider-Man wouldn't make any.
They did talk about people with spider powers.
Yeah, spider powers.
But he doesn't fit in this world because Kingpin, he's once he needs to, like, he just go in there and just slap Kingpin across the head and that'd be it,
Yeah, and it's kind of, but like as you said, this is kind of beneath Spider-Man in the MCU. Like,
so I will say this, right? Power levels wise, as far as what you've seen in the MCU, how does Luke Cage compare to Spider-Man?
I don't know. I'll probably say, I'm trying to think of like an amazing feat Spider-Man did in the movies.
Would you say in the comics? Would you say Luke Cage is stronger than Spider-Man?
No, actually. Maybe?
Oh, well, I think they're relative to each other in the sense, like, Luke Cage might be a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
But then again, we're only going by the build, their builds.
I wouldn't say there's like a vast gap between their powers, like a strength or anything. Yeah.
So I do wonder, in the MCU, Luke Cage can only do a certain amount of stuff that he can do in TV. So I wonder what his power level actually is once he falls,
Yeah, because obviously that's kind of like, not dumb him down, but nerf him a bit for TV, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you wouldn't think that he's too much stronger than some of the super soldiers, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
And even if you say he isn't that much stronger than a super soldier, but he's got the bulletproof skin and stuff like that, it does kind of... Strength-wise, okay, they've lowered him, but they've given him, but he's a step above power-wise in overall than super soldiers because of certain other things. I will say he's probably not as agile or as flexible or as
everyone else. Like Spider-Man.
Yeah. So it depends, but I think as far as the MCU goes, Luke Cage may not be as powerful as Spider-Man, but then again, we don't see Luke Cage doing anything that's spectacular or amazing. Like the puns there.
Yeah, see what you did there.
No, he's just been fighting people like Diamondback or Bushwhacker, and they don't really do much to Luke Cage. He just tank. The biggest, most powerful person he fought was probably Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
and I say that in the sense that she actually was fighting him. And then she shotgunned him.
Yeah. Totally forgot about that. Yeah.
And she was brawling with him, and I'm like, wow, okay,
But I'd like to see where it goes. Hopefully, they do introduce the Defenders.
Yeah.
But
then again, that's a very lopsided group on Daredevil side, just like in Age of Ultron, where it's Ultron and the twins versus the Avengers. You're like, wow, that's kind of.
Well, actually, in a way, it was lopsided in Ultron's side because you got Ultron and then Scarlet Witch and then the other guy.
But she wasn't doing much. She wasn't
the Scarlet Witch who becomes later on. Yeah.
Even Pedro, who's also like super speed, can take most of the Avengers by himself or whatever. Now they nerf him as well. Even and Yeah.
Because like the only thing I can think of is then they give Kingpin some like souped up people with him. It's the only thing I can really.
Yeah, well, some goons that I got some sort of abilities, right? I think necessarily abilities, but something to equal the playing field to a certain degree.
Easily do.
Yeah. Because it'd be cool to readjust it also when it's a face-off fight. It's not too uneven. I don't know. I'm not going to say, oh, Kingpin should get his bunch of ninjas and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where you're like, okay, if they're going to have superpowered individuals, and Kingpin's probably the most powerful person on his own side, and he's not superpowered, how's that work? You know?
Yeah. Because I think they could bring like, even though it's just a copy character of a character really there, Lady Bullseye, and I'm trying to think who else. Because like all the street level guys I think
that guy Ikari.
Yeah.
You read so he has that red and yellow Daredevil costume, but in a kind of ninja fashion.
Oh yeah, got him. Because the only other people I can think of is like Spider-Man villains. You can't use them, so it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, I guess that depends on which Spider-Man villains, because some of them cross over as Daredevil villains. So because they do, it's one of those awkward things where they can share, but it depends on the rights.
Yeah.
Technically, Kingpin is a Spider-Man villain.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the more of the street level Spider-Man villains, which they're not going to use in the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They could transfer over to Daredevil. Yeah. And still be fine, you know. The Ringmaster and his circus of traveling. I don't know what they call
like
now.
Armadillo and was it Big Wheel?
No.
The
Enforcers as
Rocket
well
Racer.
with Ox and what's his face? Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
like literally keeping with his Enforcers.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah, there's. I'm also intrigued at how they're gonna what other characters they might introduce and stuff like that, because if you're like, oh yeah, there's first of all many directions they can go, and they can only do so much with Bullseye before he starts murdering so many people. You can't have them like, well, if you have Punisher and Bullseye in the same series and you've got a bunch of super villains, a lot of those or hero or whatever, right, more dispensable people, right? Like, well, it's gonna get a bit awkward.
Do you think they might bring Elektra back?
Probably at some point. If it does go, if the black suit does mean Shadowland. But when I say the black suit, by the way, and your first thought was Shadowland, why didn't you think I was talking about the black and red armored suit from the 90s?
Isn't that back now?
Is that back now as well?
He's got a black and red suit now, I think, and it looks like that one. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't think of it. And plus, I was thinking of when he fought Muse in the comics the first time. He had the black costume with the white.
Yeah.
Like costume. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? Because they draw him like when they color it, it's like it's a black costume. It's essentially a really deep black costume.
Yeah.
Well, deep red to the point where it's almost black. Because some lights it's got red. Certain areas. But just like when they do the Batman costume, where it's just like so dark that it's basically black when it's blue sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they do the see the run for Superior Spider-Man. And it looked like parts that it. So was that costume black or was it really dark blue?
I don't like you said. Sometimes it looked black, and then sometimes it depends. Like I think it depends on the artist and a colorist. And it looked weird. Like, oh, okay, but then like
I think the Superior Spider-Man costume was full like the black was black, but I think most Spider-Man costumes are blue to dark blue. It's just because Dr. Octopus is like, nah, it's me boy.
Because like the later one he had in Superior Spider-Man, that was red and black. But then the earlier one was kind of like the classic, but had the goggle sort of eyes and the claws. And it was the blue bits in that I think were black. I don't know. I can't really remember.
It's just like, by the way, when the Green Lanterns can only make green costumes. So then why you got Well, you got black and white.
Yeah. The black I kind of
Oh
get,
well,
right?
there's a filter. We filter it to the point where it's green but it's so light green that it looks like it's white. Yeah. And then the black is really dark green.
Yeah.
To the point where
it's like a smidge
it looks like black. Yeah. But it's just different tones of green. All right,
if you say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
All right. Okay.
It's your science, I guess.
I mean, there's no one saying that you can't do that, but I've never seen a Green Lantern. I've only seen Green Lantern constructs colored a particular color. So
yeah, well, green. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But then it doesn't make any sense for like the other cores. Then, so like the Yellow Lantern core, right? Say it's the same principle. You can't have a yellow so dark it's black. You know what I mean? The green, I can kind of get.
Maybe a red, right?
Yeah, but and the blue, can you get? Wait, all right, never mind. Blue, you could probably get as close. But yeah, you know what I mean. The yellow one is one that doesn't breaks the logic. Like that doesn't make any sense. But all right, sure. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, you're saying a thumbs up, but there were I think most of it I enjoyed, right?
Yeah.
I could see the bits that why people didn't enjoy some parts, right? I will caveat that, but I enjoyed it. I will say, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Literally, like you text me, I was like, I want to watch the next couple of days. Are you sure you're gonna do that? And I was like, I'll watch a few episodes. I watched 2 episodes today. Ended up watching like 4 that day.
yeah.
And then I think 4. I basically finished within like 24 hours. Like I was like, oh wow, this is.
Yeah. See, I watched it week by week, but that's what you gotta do. Yeah, sometimes you just want to know what happens next.
Yeah, and then because bits of it got spoiled for me anyway. Like,
oh yeah, that's why I started watching it week by week, because people they want the clicks, and then you go to certain websites and you're like spoil everything. Just let me watch it before I get spoiled.
Yeah.
So I would have done binge like yourself, because it's very bingeable.
Yeah, it is. It's super bingeable.
It is. I think it is better to watch it all in one. A solid block like you, because then it doesn't make you wait for the Daredevil appearances.
Yeah, or you don't get the thing like, I kind of forgot what happened. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get, because like the world we live in now, like you kind of if you're watching something and then something else, you're watching something else at the same time. They all start to mingle into one. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of glad, I just got it over and done with. So I didn't have any things like, what happened to this guy again? And then spend like 2 minutes something looking at Wikipedia. Oh yeah, that's what happened, and then go back to it. So I'm glad about it.
I will say it definitely seemed like the first part of something.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah. So, but I know season 2 is season 2, but really it seems to be season 1, part 2 to me.
Yeah. Kind of got that vibe. And like, I don't feel like I'm not watching season 3. I don't think I've missed anything major.
No, you didn't. Though season 3 is good.
Yeah.
You probably just missed the actual introduction of Bullseye.
Yeah, that was the only thing.
But at this point, all you need to know is that this random dude has beef with. Well, he doesn't really. I mean, he does have beef with Daredevil.
Yeah.
But he got hired to do a specific something else, you don't know why. He has beef with Kingpin as well, but that's.
Yeah.
Maniac's gonna have beef with whoever they're gonna have beef with, so
And like, I feel like as well, maybe I kind of appreciate Bullseye more because I don't know his backstory from season 3. Like, wasn't he like a cop or something?
Look, I'd say watch season 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm actually gonna watch it.
But like we were saying, you haven't missed anything in particular that's has any bearing on this story if you haven't seen it, other than Bullseye's a maniac. And why is a maniac? Well, they didn't even say you have like just has a mental breakdown of some sort. And you're like, okay, I can buy it. Because
I like
this guy looks like the type of guy who would be.
Because I liked how Vanessa kind of got him to do what she wanted, because like he was on meds and stuff, innit? She goes, well, we can get you off of that if you, and he just looked out of it like, oh, okay. So I kind of like, okay, they bring in that he is like kind of becoming unhinged. So yeah, because like he's more not a psychopath as in like his comic book version where he's just a nutcase. Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah. His comic version is he is something else.
Yeah. He's just he's one of the characters I don't think you could ever redeem him. Like, it's nothing you can sort of. Yeah.
Just love to be a sadist. This guy.
Yeah. And it's like, it is what it is. But yeah. Good show. Go watch it, people. Go watch it.
That's all we can say about that, really, right?
Yeah.
So though, would you say that if people have certain opposing views, such as there's not enough action, or there's too many stretches where we don't see Daredevil and stuff, you accept that as criticism?
Yeah, I said it was criticism, but then I accept it. But my not argument, but I'll say the more you see of it, then the kind of less impactful it is.
You got a good point.
Yeah, that's how I kind of saw it, and I enjoyed the lore aspects of this as well. So that's me.
Yeah. So you're double thumbs up from me. As from me. Yeah.
Two of them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool, nice. I mean, good that we both liked. I know sometimes we have opposing views on certain things.
Yeah.
Though mostly we do agree on things.
Mostly.
Yeah. But that means we're not opposed to the story, the way they told this story in particular.
Yeah.
They had the court story to go to do. You know, I think you won't really get. It's not exactly he's going to go and start beating up people for information. You know.
Yeah, he's not Batman. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know. And at this point in the court story as well, he thought he had it on locked on. You know.
Yeah.
And little did you know.
Goo, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, he had nothing. But yeah, man. Yeah. Good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Really.
Worth a watch. Well, what do you think of the Daredevil costume? The new one.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't tell the difference
between the. So if he said season 1 Daredevil and season 2 Daredevil, and you couldn't tell the difference, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. Other than the helmet that he wears later on, that's smoother, not as angular because the Punisher shot it, and the Gladiator had to reconstruct him new one. I'd be like, I don't think there's much difference between the costumes in season 2 and 3. I think other than if people point out certain rivets and stuff like that, right? Yeah. But I mean, season 1 and 2. I'd say there's definite difference between, because even you could say that the red and yellow costume is a new paint job over the old Daredevil costume, right? From the Netflix series. But this season 4, this new Born Again costume is definitely different.
Really, because I don't remember the season 1 the original costume, so that's why I was like,
I think it's not, the colors aren't as bright.
Yeah.
Sorry, the new costume has got, I say, brighter colors,
yeah, because
the old costume I'd say is more burgundy maroon-ish, right? It has more blacks to it as well in certain areas, but this is like all like a bit more smoothed out, you know, a lot more red.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Is this the one?
If you see it side by side, like you're putting up, you can see you'll see a lot more difference. Yeah. I will say, yeah. So I do like the red and yellow costume. I don't know why they didn't use it that much, but it just probably didn't fit the tone of this series, which is fine.
Yeah, but like you said, even if they kind of used it for like a minute in the first episode.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I don't know. The time between She-Hulk and this.
And obviously they couldn't get John Walters to make an appearance because that upset the power levels too much.
Yeah.
We're just like, Matt, you are Hobag.
Yes.
How many people can a blind person get with?
But maybe that's what, like, they broke up and he's like, I'm not happy no more. Let me go back to the black well, not black, but you know.
I will say, by the way, they have Matt exactly as his comic book version is, where he's just hooking up with the women, and you're like,
a manho, yeah.
I'm like, well, okay, well, you know, I mean, you know, he could challenge Hal Jordan on level of manho-ness, right?
Yeah, but no one.
But I'll give Matt the more props because he's doing it and blind. He didn't even know what these women.
like I'll give him props over like Johnny Storm, who is the biggest of all man whores in Marvel.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
No, only that, because randomly I saw a video about it and it was like, yeah, Johnny Storm is the worst, and it went through things like, he is a terrible person when it comes to women.
Well, but to be fair to Johnny Storm, he was a 16-year-old when he started.
Yeah.
So being in Fantastic Four, so I can see how someone like that would be trying to get as much fame and fortune and other things as possible. You know.
Yeah, I get it.
But you would think he matured, but then he's like, no. I'm living the Vin Diesel life. You know.
He's living that bachelor life. You know.
Yeah.
Do what I want until someone complains.
That Triple X life.
Yep. Oh God. When are we gonna get Triple X 4? That's my opinion.
Yeah. Oh. Indeed. When are we going to do? Whenever he decides he's going. When is funny you point out. When is Fast and Furious 11 coming out?
I think next year.
It's been a while. Next year.
Yeah, because I thought it would have been this year, right? Because 10 come out 2023, didn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while. That's like, yeah. What are they waiting for? I say what they're waiting for, but it's just like, Vin Diesel, it shouldn't take you 3 years to come up with a story. You know exactly how you're going to do it. You are going to win. I know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's like, wouldn't you thought they would have thought the story one making the other one as the other one ends on a cliffhanger? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then you say that, yeah. But then, what was it? When they were making, was it number 9? Yeah, at the end of number 9, where what's his name? The Korean guy knocks on the door of Jason Statham's thing. Right?
Oh yeah,
and he has short hair there.
Yeah.
And then when they do it in number 10, he's got long hair. So whatever. Yeah. And Jason Statham still has no hair, but that doesn't matter.
But he doesn't make it. Oh. You thought they hired people for continuity, but I guess not.
Yeah. Who knows at this point? All right. But anyways, Daredevil. Yes. Double thumbs up. It's not like the Born Again comic.
No.
But then again, how are you gonna? You won't be able to do that.
No. And it's probably best they didn't, because then I think more people probably complain about stuff. But yeah.
Look, I like that they took the title and it was technically, like the same with the Spider-Man Homecoming, where it's just, Sony's got Marvel's got a property back, and there's a Homecoming, so Daredevil Born Again, because it's relaunched and Born Again, as well as being a reference to the very popular comic book graphic novel collection. So
and I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's very clever.
Yeah. So we'll see how. If when they do the rest of the Defenders, are they going to be like Luke Cage, Danny Rand, Heroes for Hire?
Yeah, hopefully.
And they're going to be like, not Jessica Jones, it'd be just called Alias or something like that. Even though I would say the titles of the episodes were called Alias.
Yeah.
So. I do think, by the way, Luke Cage and Danny Rand are better as a pair together if they were going to do those series.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Because that one episode of them two in Luke Cage was really good.
Yeah. It elevated Danny Rand.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And then.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to deal with the rest of that, because what's her name has got the powers as well.
Yeah.
Misty Knight. Not Misty Knight. What's the other one? Colleen Wing.
Yeah. You know what I reckon is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to mention it. I really think it'll be like a throwaway line because of the blip and stuff. Like, she was this, then everyone disappeared and came back, and then I was Iron Fist again. Like, okay, and then just move straight on. Yeah.
They also, I think they were going to have that actress Jessica Hennick in Shang-Chi, where she said no because she's still trying to come back as Colleen Wing.
I respect her for that.
I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
respect her for that. I respect her for that. Yeah.
I don't know if they were going to have her come back as her character, which then she probably would have been like,
yeah, I think if they did her back as a character, she would have came back. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it was probably just for a cameo. But to get her to come back as another character.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, even though we got that situation in Luke Cage where I can't remember the actress's name now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was also in Captain America Civil War as a different character, but whatever.
And also, what's her name? Gemma Chung is in Miss.
Oh, yeah,
Captain
but
Marvel.
she played the blue alien in Captain.
Yeah, I know.
So you can be like, okay, they're different.
Kind of get around that, yeah.
that when they got Mahershala Ali in Luke Cage, and they're like, "Yeah, we have you as Blade."
Yeah.
What?
And then,
not as if, by the way, they give him hair and sunglasses, they can be like, and a beard, a goatee or whatever, and be like, "Oh, that's a different person." No, he looks almost exactly the
same. Yeah.
If he does decide to do Blade now, because I think at this point he might have aged out of that role.
Yeah, because
if they want him for a specific amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't think Blade's happening.
Yeah.
With him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. You think they should get Sticky Fingers back?
Wesley, man. Wesley, give him a.
By the way, we should. Yeah, I think we said before.
Yeah, we need to watch it, don't we?
Blade,
Yeah. We need to.
We gotta do this. We gotta find the series somewhere, and we gotta. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Might be better when after. Oh, I might think it's better. Might think it's worse because that's what happened with Birds of Prey. So.
Yeah, and Birds of Prey was awesome. So yeah, you never know.
all right. So that'll be signing up. Oh yeah, you got at some point you gotta watch DareDevil 3, and then maybe. Actually, you know what? We could do a rewatch of season 1, 2, and 3, and just do like a overview or something like that. Because then you're not watching season 3 just to watch; you're watching it for a particular reason.
Yeah, no, we can do that. I'm up for that.
Yeah, well, let me know. We'll work out something.
Yeah.
All right. So that's us signing off for this episode. Yeah, I'm the man who. What's it? Okay. No, forget it. I was going to say the line that Batista said about basketball, so the Great Khali, but then I'd have to try to relate it to the Kingpin somehow. So I was like, that's going to be a bit of a difficult one. So forget that. I'm the maniac that kills people with my broken teeth. CY Chung.
And I am the man who pines over his wife for so many years. I loved her so much, but then I disappeared for like 8 years and then come back and like, hey, by the way, we're still married, right? Yeah. And then gets angry because she's like, oh, I don't know if my husband's dead or not. I'm gonna see someone else, and then get angry about it. Yeah, but then commit murder with my wife to bring us back together because
Yeah, the strength, right?
Yeah, we both have a secret on each other now. Yeah. Kyle Charles, and thank you for listening to us review Disney's / Marvel's Daredevil Reborn on the Disney Plus.
No, Daredevil Born Again, not Reborn.
Why did I say Reborn?
I think you did it before as well, something else that you said Reborn as well. Like, no, that's all. Not to be pedantic and correct you over it, but that's
no, but it's annoying me now. Like, why did I do that? But yeah, Daredevil Born Again, not the comic, the series, TV show. And have you watched it? What's your take on it? Did you enjoy the lore stuff? Did you enjoy his new costume, his interactions with Francis Castle, or actually, isn't his real name like Francis Costello or something like that?
I don't know.
Something like that, and he's Sean the Castle.
I don't know why I punished the law, but yes, it does sound familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, they will never. By the way, do you think they'll never do Frankencastle
No.
or the Angel of Death, whatever Punisher that he was?
I hope not.
That's next level stuff that I don't think.
That's stuff
even you know how they. By the way, you know how they got him out. So after he died,
yeah.
Do you know how they put him back in his human body?
No.
They just did. That's it. And so he had the Angel of Death storyline, and then there was a break or whatever it is. Then that Super's got cancelled, and the next thing you know, he's Punisher back as Frank Castle. That's it. All right. Okay.
Because I think they can't with the Frankencastle thing. I think it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Because I remember I read when he got chopped up, and I was like, "This is interesting." Then I started reading the Frankencastle comics, and it's like some weird things like monsters and stuff. And then I was like, "I'm confused," and I just stopped reading it. And then next thing I knew, he was Frank Castle again. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
We'll just pretend all that didn't happen.
Yeah, they did. I'll actually try to read that. Just the last issue. See what happens.
Geez.
But anyways, yes. And let us know if you've enjoyed watching all the Daredevil stuff. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. That can be found on top of the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to us on the audio realm, it will be in the description bar. It'll tell you all that stuff there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcasting app you are. listen to this on. And you'll see us very soon when we review Marvel's Thunderbolts with an asterisk at the end. I don't know what the asterisk's about. There's apparently the reason
AKA Dark Avengers, there's some people saying it, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, so that'll be up very soon. And until next time, guys, I'd like to thank you all for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.